Hello everyone, welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to another Dungeon Quest guide video today, where today guys I'm going to show you all on how to get every single drop found on the Samurai Palace, Insane, and Nightmare difficulties. This is yet a continuation of my other video that I uploaded back then on the Underworld difficulty, and I know I'm getting a little bit busy with it today, so I'm getting right now back to getting as much fast as I can for these videos to be uploaded. So if you guys don't know, basically most of the stuff that I recorded in the past are the old recordings that I recorded in Dungeon Quest compared to the new update that they did in Dungeon Quest for updating the Volcanic Chambers map they added in Dungeon Quest on July 2020. Remember guys, if you're new to this channel, if you want to keep me updated with all the future content whenever I upload from YouTube, make sure to guys hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell for more whenever there are new videos out like this in the future. Thank you all for tuning in, and I hope you all enjoy today's guide video on Samurai Palace. So for the very first two level 89 weapons that can be found on the Samurai Palace Insane difficulty, the first one we're looking at today is the Staff of Heat. The Staff of Heat deals a base average of 21,000 spell power in total. It can be sold for a total of 700,000 gold, and players must be at least level 89 in order to equip this staff. And for the next level 89 weapon we have is the Bone Scythe. The Bone Scythe deals a base average of 21,000 damage per swing. It can be sold for a total of 700,000 gold, and players must be at least level 89 in order to equip these weapons. Next, we got the remaining level 90 weapons that can be found on the Insane difficulty like before. The next one we're looking at today is the Royal Katana. The Royal Katana deals a base average of 23,750 damage per swing. It can be sold for a total of 700,000 gold, and players must be at least level 90 in order to equip this weapon. The next mage weapon we have is the Industrial Spell Scythe. The Industrial Spell Scythe deals a base average of 23,750 spell power in total. It can be sold for a total of 700,000 gold, and players must be at least level 90 in order to equip the Spell Scythe. The next one we have is the Honorable Greatsword. The Honorable Greatsword deals a base average of 27,000 damage per swing. It can be sold for a total of 700,000 gold, and players must be at least level 90 in order to equip this weapon. And the next one deals the same amount of damage like before with the Greatsword is the Sapphire Spellseer. The Sapphire Spellseer deals a base average of 26,000 to 27,000 damage in spell power total. I'm not sure if this was another mistake like I looked before from the wiki, so it's a little bit inaccurate from what I'm looking at here. It can be sold up to a total of 700,000 gold, and players must be at least level 90 in order to equip this Spellseer. And now for the last two weapons that you could find in the Samurai Palace Insane difficulty, which is another dual weapon that you can find, and that is the Dual Infernal Daggers. The Dual Infernal Daggers deals a base average of 30,000 damage in total per swing. It can be sold for a total of 700,000 gold, and players must be at least level 90 to equip those dual weapons. And finally, the last one we have the Emethius Spell Dagger. The Emethius Spell Dagger deals a base average of 30,000 spell power. It can be sold for a total of 700,000 gold, and players must be at least level 90 in order to equip the Spell Dagger. Next, we're going to be looking at the new spell drops that can be found in the Insane difficulty on Samurai Palace. Now, there's a total of 6 of them we're going to look today. Yes, there's a lot more actually that's been added than the previous dungeons I found on the Underworld. The first one we're going to be looking at is the Lava Lash. The Lava Lash fires 2 sword beams, dealing damage and having delayed line explosion. The Lava Lash can only deal a yield of up to 2 ticks of damage, which approximately is dealing 9 times the player damages per swing. That scales with physical power damage. Has a cooldown of 4 seconds, and that the Lava Lash can be sold for a total of 900,000 gold, and players must be at least level 90 in order to equip this spell. And the Wild Lash is almost similar to the one that the King boss uses in King's Castle. The next warrior spell drop we're looking at is the Berserk. The Berserk's description says that it slashes your enemy 11 times in damage total. The conception is that it deals a total of 2.6 the amount of the user's damage per swing per tick of damage. It has a cooldown of 4 seconds, which scales with physical power damage. It can be sold for a total of 900,000 gold, and players must be at least level 90 in order to equip the Berserk spell. The next one we have is a hand cannon, which is a mage class weapon, which is a mage class spell drop, which fires a small, fast, and thin laser. The hand cannon can only deal a total of 1 tick of damage, although that's the only thing you can find in this one because it only deals about 1 base of it, so it can be a pretty fast cooldown to use, and it's pretty much a very quick one, especially if you're going to use the Nightmare ones found in Samurai Palace. It can be sold for a total of 900,000 gold, and players must be at least level 90 in order to equip the hand cannon spell. The next one we have is Earth Clap. Earth Clap raises 2 walls of earth, then slam them together for massive damage. Like before with the hand cannon, it can deal a total of 1 tick of damage. It has a cooldown of 5 seconds and scales with spell power damage in total. It can be sold for a total of 900,000 gold, and players must be at least level 90 in order to equip the spell. For the next mage weapon we have is the Enchanted Shuriken. Enchanted Shuriken charges up a large shuriken, then fire it, dealing initial damage, then it comes back for another hit. So this is a 2-tick damage we're looking at here. It has a cooldown of 5 seconds of skills and functionality with the spell power. It can be sold for a total of 900,000 gold, and players must be at least level 90 to equip this Enchanted Shuriken spell on the insane difficulty in Samurai Palace. The next one we have is another Guardian class that we are looking today. Now, this has been actually used since the Pirate Island dungeon, I want to say. And that is the Guardian Roar. The Guardian Roar constantly roars for a few seconds, taunting anything ahead of you. players must be at least level 95 in order to equip the spell. The next warrior class weapon we have, the Toxic War Spear, which is supposed to be another spear weapon we have. It deals a base average of 42,500 damage per swing. It can be sold for a total of 900,000 gold, and players must be at least level 95 in order to equip this weapon. And finally, for the next spell we have in this game, the next mage spell we have is the Pink Pearl Spell Scythe. Pink Pearl Spell Scythe. The Pink Pearl Spell Scythe deals a base average of 42,500 damage in spell power total. It can be sold for a minimum of 900,000 gold and requires players to be at least level 95 in order to equip the spell scythe. And finally, for the last two weapons, the second highest two weapons in this game that are both level 96, and we have the Ruby Greatsword. The Ruby Greatsword deals a base average of 47,000 damage per swing. It can be sold for a total of 900,000 gold and requires players to be at least level 96 in order to equip this weapon. Now for the other second best weapon that is for mage class, and that is the Dual Elegant Mage Fans. The Dual Elegant Mage Fans deals a base average of 47,000 damage per spell power total. It can be sold for a minimum of 900,000 gold, and players must be at least level 96 in order to equip the Mage Fans. And finally, we have the best weapon, and finally we have the next two legendary drops that you can get in the Samurai Palace Nightmare difficulty. Like I stated before, the other ones, legendaries can only be found in a Nightmare difficulty that you can get. And that happens to be both the Sakura Greatstaff and the Sakura Katana. Both the Sakura Greatstaff and the Sakura Katana deals a base average of 56,000 damage in total, depending on if you're picking the warrior or the mage class weapon. Both of these legendaries can be sold for a total of 1.5 million gold, and players must be at least level 97 in order to equip these both legendaries. And like before with any of the other legendaries in the game, it has a drop rate of 0.2, which is approximately 1 out of every 500 runs to get these both legendaries. I know it can be pretty risky like before with many other legendaries, it can be very grindy. Next, we're going to be looking at only 3 spell drops that are found in the Nightmare difficulty of Samurai Palace. Yes, there's only 3 of them actually in total in comparison to the 6 we previously discussed. We are now introducing the new types of spells that are speed spells. Yes, we actually have speed spells now in Samurai Palace. And we're going to look at one of the 2 speed spells that you could use in the Samurai Palace Nightmare that you could tame them. The one of them being the Flame Cyclone. The Flame Cyclone spins around, increasing movement speed and hitting enemies a total of 15 ticks per damage. And each tick of damage can be a total of 2.6 damage per swing. It is a cooldown of 9 seconds, which functions as ability as physical power, and the rarity is an epic. It can be sold for a total of 1.2 million gold, and players must be at least level 93. The next class we have for the Samurai Palace Nightmare is the Ghostly Rampage. Ghostly Rampage summons a ghost to slam the ground in front of it, 6 ticks of damage per spell power swing. It is a cooldown of 6 seconds. It functions with scaling with spell power total, and the rarity is a rare. It can be sold for a total of 1.2 million gold, and players must be at least level 93 in order to equip the spell drop. And finally, one of the second spell in the entire game, which is by far a really great spell drop that you could definitely use if you ever get this one. And it's still really good to use in this game up until the point of the next dungeon. And that happens to be for Mage class, the Illusion Blast, which is one of the second speed spells in the game that you can actually get. The Illusion Blast leaves behind 4 ticks of illusions of yourself over time, which explodes, each having a big AoE damage. So basically AoE means all and everything, like with multiple enemies surrounding it, and it grants increased movement speed as well. Like I said, with dealing 4 ticks of damage, it has also a cooldown of 8 seconds that functions with the spell power ability, and the rarity is an epic. You'll be sold for a total of 1.2 million gold, and players must be at least level 93 in order to equip the Illusion Blast. By far, the Illusion Blast is probably one of the best 2 weapons that you can get. The other one you can also use is the Flame Cyclone, if you really also want to prefer that, but it's really good to use this unless you are dealing with until the next dungeon in the game. Now for the 6 armor drops that we have in the Samurai Palace Nightmare difficulty, and that happens to be the Infernal armor sets and the Ancestral armor sets in the game. First, we have the Infernal Warrior, Mage, and Guardian sets. For the Warrior, Mage, and Guardian sets in the Infernal armor set, it deals a base average of 2,400 to 2,500 damage per piece, per swing and piece, depending on if you have the helmet and armor in total, basically. So depending on what you actually pick for your class, which is Warrior or Mage, it will still deal the same damage output as Wise. Now, as for the Guardian set that is found in the Infernal Guardian set 1, it has a base average up to 96,000 health in total, combined with the 2 pieces that will have an average of 48,000 health in total. Each piece of armor can be sold for a total of 900,000 gold and requires players to be at least level 95 in order to equip the armor sets. And now for the last 2, which are the highest armor sets that you can get in the Samurai Palace Nightmare, the Ancestral Warrior, Mage, and Guardian sets. Both the Ancestral Warrior and Mage sets deals a base average up to 3,000 damage in total for physical or mage weapons, or either one that you equip. And as for the Guardian set for Ancestral, it has a base average up to 120,000 health, depending on which combine a total for 60,000 health for the helmet and the armor. Each piece of armor can be sold for a total of 1.3 million gold and requires players to be at least level 96 in order to equip the Ancestral armor sets. Like I said before, this is one of the highest armor sets that you can get in this game. It can be pretty hard to get these, but it will be pretty much worth it to you, and it will really help you in the very long run until the next dungeon. Well, everyone, that is going to be it for today on showing you guys on how to get the drops founded in the Samurai Palace Nightmare difficulty. Thank you guys for watching today's guide video on how to do so. This is Gales here, signing out.